Jai Telangana. Thank you so much, St. Francis, for a huge, warm, lovely, loving and brilliant welcome. I thank Honorable Principal Garu. Something is wrong with the mic. Honorable Principal Garu, Sandra Hota Garu, Vice Principal Madam Shirley Garu, K. Anita Garu, HOD Department of Mass Communication, and of course all the very, very, very brilliant and lovely students of St. Francis. Thank you so much for having me here today. The only difference between a women's college and a co-education or a men's college is you're all shouting, there are no whistles, but you know that's the only thing that is missing. Can any one of you whistle? Yeah? Oh, wow, that's a nice rowdy crowd. I like you guys already. Thank you. Today I'm very, very happy to be here. Mediasphere పేరుతోని మాస్ కమ్యూనికేషన్ డిపార్ట్మెంట్స్ ఆర్గనైజ్ చేసినటువంటి ఈ వేడుకను ప్రారంభించడానికి నన్ను రమ్మన్నందుకు ధన్యవాదాలు. ఇక్కడ ఇండస్ట్రీ నుండి చంద్ర వేంపటి గారు డైరెక్టర్ అండ్ యాక్టర్ వారు కూడా ఉన్నారు. వారితో పాటు అదేవిధంగా ఇంకా జడ్జ్ అండ్ జ్యూరీస్ రకరకాల కాలేజెస్ నుండి వచ్చినటువంటి అన్ని ఫిలిమ్స్ని జడ్జ్ చేసి ఈరోజు ఈవినింగ్ లోపల మంచి అవార్డ్స్ ఇచ్చి మాస్ కమ్యూనికేషన్ చేస్తున్నటువంటి స్టూడెంట్స్కి ఇన్స్పిరేషన్గా ఉండడానికి ఈ కార్యక్రమం ఏర్పాటు చేసినందుకు నేను చాలా సంతోషిస్తూ ఉన్నాను. And that is for the media guys, that should be in Telugu. Okay, so now I just want to share some of my ideas with you, because the profession that you have chosen, mass communication, is not an easy one. Because some of you tomorrow when you get out of the safety net of the college will go out into the real world. Some of you choose to become journalists, some of you will choose to become filmmakers, some of you might take up a different profession altogether. But if you choose to be in the profession of journalism or film making, let me tell you, and you also prepare yourself, it is not an easy journey. But then as women, if we have started, embarked upon this journey, I encourage you to finish this journey and be victorious at the end. And first of all, I would like to congratulate your parents and thank them from the heart, because not many parents will respect the choice of their girls to go on this path. If your parents have encouraged, if they have paid fees, and if they are giving you all kinds of facilities to be in a prestigious institute like St. Francis to get a degree in mass communication, it is not an easy thing for them, trust me on that. But they have done it. I congratulate your parents from the bottom of my heart. ఎందుకోసం ఈ మాట చెప్తా ఉన్నా అంటే, I meet thousands of young women who aspire to be in a college like St. Francis. They can't afford to be, unfortunately, because of various reasons. But I today urge you not to take this privilege that you have very easily. Don't take it for granted. Out of lakhs of children, lakhs of women, few of us get an opportunity to do this. Naku personally, when I was young, it was my mother who fought with her entire family and told the family, I am not very well educated, I want my daughter to be educated in an English medium school. So today, whatever I am is because of my mother. And in a later stage of life, when I was supposed to go to the United States, it was my father who took up the initiative and convinced my mother, yes, she is a girl, but she needs to have global exposure, and she sent both me and my brother in the same year to the United States for further education. So if it is not for our parents, if it is not for their efforts, if it is not for their own battles that they fight to put us in this institute, in this kind of education, please do not take it lightly. And today with a lot of sadness I share this. Journalists across the world, especially women journalists across the world, it's a global phenomenon. They're being harassed for whatever news they cover. It has become a very easy thing to target women journalists. In India, when the government agreed that there is Pegasus on certain people, majority of them were women journalists. And it is very easy to target a woman. If a woman takes up a sensitive issue, it could be any issue, takes up a sensitive issue, they believe, the goons believe that they can intimidate a woman by targeting them, abusing them on their physical appearance, etc. by violence. They've tried it, but I should really salute the women journalists across the globe who have stood to the test of the time, who have stood by whatever they believed in it and then made name for themselves. And unfortunately in some countries like Pakistan and some countries, we see a phenomena where when a woman journalist covers a news, there have been honor killings from the family itself, that why did you cover this news brought shame upon us. So there are all kinds of violences happening across the globe. It is not a phenomena that is in India. I want to tell you that this is not an easy profession, but then this is a profession that can help millions and millions of women if you do it rightly with all your heart. Because as a journalist, you have a choice to report on an issue which just goes unnoticed. If you can report it, if you can bring it to the sight of the proper people, there can be a solution for thousands of women. And as a filmmaker, today Mediasphere has, I believe, invited entries across the Hyderabad today, and there are people from across various colleges and institutes. And if you are a filmmaker, if you can make a sensitive movie about the emotional issues or about the practical issues that are faced by certain sections, you can make a lot of difference. Millions of lives can be touched by it. So either you go into the media sphere or you go into the journalism sphere. This is a very brilliant profession, but all brilliant things have their own difficulties. The path is definitely not easy, but I urge you to stick to the path. And as women, as a women politician, I have faced my own bit of difficulties. It is a fact, it is there for every woman in any profession. I could be KCR's daughter, different story, but then you will have to fight your own battles at every stage. I am fighting mine, I am still fighting mine, and I will keep fighting. So I urge all the women that we need to do that. And the only way a woman can survive in difficult professions like journalism, media, politics is one, by being sincere and truthful. If I do politics for my own sake, I won't be successful. If you will be a journalist for your own sake, you won't be successful. If you make a movie for your own self, nobody will watch it. But when you make a movie for the people, when you investigate a piece of corruption or whatever is happening for the people, when people like me do policies for the people, we will be successful. I urge you to take that path, not for our own sake, but for millions of women out there. But then how do we stick to this path? How do we continue in this path? How do we win? I believe women today, ma'am, globally have to have a network, have to have a brilliant network. There are many journalist schools across the globe who offer internship programs, who offer handshake programs. I sincerely urge the management of St. Francis, ma'am, to get into these handshake agreements with international and national institutes which especially care for the women journalists, women mass communication students. From today can start the networking. So by the time you finish your PG, you already know where to go, what to do, whom to speak to, how to get your funding done, how to be in the safety net. If we do not create that safety net as women for ourselves, if we do not network for ourselves from now, it will be very difficult. I am telling you this very off the record, I know, despite many cameras here, that I believe in communicating with every woman politician, whichever party she is in. Because women, we, I think, vibe at a very different level. We need to do that. Despite we us being in any organization anywhere, we have a great vibe, and we are, the additional quality that we have is we are awesome looking than the rest half of the society. So we are a pleasant sight, we are brilliant minds. All we need is some courage, all we need is some dedication. And how do we have that courage and dedication continuously in our life is only by networking. Please don't take it easy. You have to build these networks from right now until you finish your undergraduation, until you finish your post-graduation. Then I am sure you can certainly achieve the goal. And today there are many celebrated women journalists across the globe. many celebrated women filmmakers across the globe. But then I was just reading when I was coming here, in Hollywood, the highest grossing movies that were made last year, only 5% are made by women. Only 5%. And I have seen the interviews of some of these successful women directors, and they are saying nobody takes us seriously. Nobody in this field thinks that a woman can be a boss, women can be a creative head. Nobody thinks that I can carry a camera which weighs 20-30 kilos and do the cinematography. So it is a difficult field. To prove yourself, we'll have to go that extra mile, but it is not an impossible field. Today it is 5%. Tomorrow when all of you brilliant minds from St. Francis go out into the world, I am sure it will become 50%. I am looking forward for that day. I really want you to go out there, make your mark in the world. And I have always understood that any woman who can help another woman is the most powerful woman in this world. She doesn't have to be powerful herself, but she can enable someone else. And once again, I will come back to the fact that I was sharing with you, that whatever privilege we have here, the seat that we have here in this prestigious institute, kindly don't take it lightly. Don't let the distractions come to you. This cell phone here is a brilliant one. We can make a brilliant movie out of the cell phone. We can win an award. At the same time, we can get distracted by it. We want to make sure and understand, if we want the technology that has come into our lives should be an enabler to make us successful filmmaker or journalist, or to be a distractor to go down the path. So kindly be clear of what you want, and suddenly in middle of the course you decide this is not for me. It is all right. You make your own mistake. You make your own decisions. But then don't let anybody tell you. My only simple request is, girls should stand up, take time, think about yourself. Because we are not in a world anymore where we are saying, हाँ ठीक है कोई खाना लेके आएगा हम घर में रहेंगे खाना बनाएंगे. No, we are not in that zamana anymore. We don't want to be homemakers. If you decide to be a homemaker, be the best homemaker. If you decide to be a filmmaker, be the best filmmaker. But you decide for yourself. Because today in this country, there are a lot of goons who tell you, don't dress like this, don't talk like this, don't do this, don't do that. I am saying don't listen to any one of them. Listen to your heart. If you feel it is correct, please go ahead. And one last thing I would like to tell you guys is that, inspired by the Mediasphere festival that St. Francis has taken up, I would like to say that Bharat Jagruti and St. Francis are, I am very thankful to Madam Principal who has agreed to enter into a relationship with Bharat Jagruti, wherein we are creating a seat called KCR Scholarship from this academic year, where we will be giving scholarships to 10 brilliant students who are from humble backgrounds, from economically challenged backgrounds every year. From this year we will continuously do it and continue the relationship with St. Francis. And whoever, that is one permanent initiative that is going to be there with St. Francis, and whoever wins the Mediasphere award, I would like to invite them to make a film. 3 films I want to invite them to make. 1, please make a film on Bathkamma. 2, please make a film on India through your lens. 3, please make a film on why we should vote. So any winners who come, these 3 categories I have chosen. Please make films on them, make sensitive content. I was speaking with Mr. Chandra before I came here, because he's seen a lot of the movies that you've made. So yeah, we might not have fancy equipment, fancy cameras. One input he gave I really liked was, he said, ma'am, please request the students to bring in more emotions into the movies. Camera aa jayenge, technical qualities baad mein aayenge, we might grow bigger in life, get a better equipment. But emotions is one thing that should be a part and parcel of the movie making or journalism or politics. On that, and thank you so much for having me here. I really hope Mediasphere will be a brilliant success. We have you are in your silver jubilee year, and I truly appreciate the entire department of mass communication, and seems lovely to see so many future filmmakers and journalists in the hall. Thank you so much. Jai Telangana. Jai Bharat. జై తెలంగాణ. Thank you so much, St. Francis, for a huge, warm, lovely, loving and brilliant welcome. I thank